If there is one thing you can do to change your life, it's to learn another language. And let me tell you this, if you are from the United States, you are doing yourself a disservice if you are not learning Spanish. And I promise you, if you learn Spanish, you can become unrecognizable. 11 years ago, I started learning Spanish, and now, fast forward, I live in Mexico. My girlfriend is Mexican, native Spanish speaker. Native Spanish speakers confuse me to be Mexican. Not trying to toot my own horn, I'm just trying to show you how much it can change your life. I've traveled all over the Spanish speaking world, being able to actually speak and connect with locals. I can connect with people in my community. I'm from Southern California. The list goes on and on. Here's the thing. At first you might think, oh, I want to learn Spanish to do XYZ thing. But then all of a sudden you're going to achieve that, but it's going to open all these other doors for you in ways that you could have never imagined. So not only will you become unrecognizable to everyone around you, but you'll also become unrecognizable to yourself. Now, I'm making this video to motivate you, to show you that you can do it, and that if you want to learn Spanish, you cannot lose if you do not quit. I think about this all the time, probably every single day. And this applies to anything that you're trying to do in life. If you just don't quit, then you cannot lose. If you keep going, you will be successful. Now, if you're learning Spanish for 5 minutes a day, well, maybe it's going to take you a longer time. But if you learn Spanish really intensely for a few weeks and you give up, well, then you're not going to really learn Spanish, okay? The name of the game is consistency and having fun, okay? You cannot lose if you do not quit. Now, a way that Spanish is going to change you, it's going to build your confidence. It's going to make you feel good. You're going to be able to walk into a situation where there are a bunch of native Spanish speakers and feel good. You feel confident. All right, cool. I can speak with these people. Now, my students always struggle with confidence. And oftentimes, I find that my students struggle more with things like confidence than they do with things like object pronouns, for example. Now, if you're struggling with confidence, if you're learning Spanish and you're like, oh, I just don't think I'm ready to have a conversation, or I don't want to look silly, the reality is you are always going to make mistakes. And it's going to be frustrating, it's going to be embarrassing, but the number one way to build your confidence when learning Spanish is to speak with people. Now, you might be thinking, well, maybe I could try this technique or this method or whatever. Just go out and speak with people, all right? That's my tough love for the day. You just have to go out and speak with people. And if you don't have people in your community, if you don't have family or friends who speak Spanish, go online. There's free language exchanges online like Hello Talk or Tandem, or you can hire a teacher, right, on a platform like italki or Lengua, okay? Get out there and speak. That is how you're going to build your confidence. But once you do learn Spanish successfully, your confidence is going to go through the roof. I absolutely love it when I'm walking around Mexico and people start speaking to me in English because they see the way I look, and then I hit them with the Spanish and like, oh, you're Mexican. And I'm like, no, I am a white guy from California and I learned Spanish, but I teach Spanish now and I speak Spanish. Like, oh my God, I thought you were Mexican, man. Like, wow, your Spanish is really good. That is cool, and let's be honest, that gives you a big confidence boost. Once again, not trying to toot my own horn here, please don't misinterpret that. I'm just trying to show you how cool it is to learn Spanish to a high level, okay? Family and friends, all right? If you have Spanish-speaking family, this is going to absolutely change your life. I have a lot of students who are Latinos who come from Spanish-speaking families, and they're learning Spanish, or they're improving their Spanish. And the stories I hear are amazing. Like, oh my gosh, Nate, now because I've been learning and improving my Spanish, I can actually connect with my abuelita, for example, and it feels good. I feel like I'm a part of the family. I don't feel like a no sabo kid or whatever. Or if you have Spanish-speaking friends, like my good friend Luis from high school. When I was friends with Luis for years before I actually started speaking Spanish, but our relationship changed. It was like, oh wow, man, like I'm seeing a side of you that I had never seen before when we would speak in English. And I have with a bunch of different Spanish-speaking friends that I had because I'm from Southern California, okay? So family and friends are going to behave much differently with you when you learn Spanish, okay? Like I said, you'll become unrecognizable to them, but also to yourself. Next, travel. Who doesn't want to travel the world, right? Think about going to Mexico. You go to Mexico City, you want to go check out the city, see the museums, and just experience the culture and the food. And instead of, kind of like awkwardly saying, hola, yo quiero tacos, por favor. Now you can be like, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cuánto tiempo lleva aquí trabajando en este puesto? So on and so forth. You can actually connect with people. You can have interesting conversations, and you can learn a lot of interesting things that you wouldn't have been able to learn otherwise. An example I'll give you is I love talking to taxi or Uber drivers. I absolutely love it They're so interesting. Wherever I am in the world, I love speaking with taxi or Uber drivers. And here in Mexico, I talk to them all the time, and they share very interesting stories with me. Stories of crossing the border illegally, or what it's like to work in the United States, for example, or their family situation, or their favorite foods, so on and so forth. You can hear a lot of very interesting stories, get new perspectives, and ultimately change your own worldview. Like I said, you're not only becoming unrecognizable to everyone else, but almost to yourself. Saying, wow, oh, that's cool. I have this new perspective that I wouldn't have gained if I hadn't learned Spanish, okay? Next is dating. Now, you might already have a romantic partner, you might be married, but if I think about my current situation, my novia and I have been dating for more than 2 years now, and I wouldn't have been able to have the same connection that I have with my girlfriend if I didn't know Spanish. So not only is it really cool that you build your confidence, you can speak with family and friends, and you can travel, you can also date new people. I always tell my girlfriend, I'm so grateful that she's my girlfriend. I'm trying not to get emotional right now, because she is so grateful and so appreciative for everything, and I think that is something that I might not have been able to find to the same level with someone from the U.S. That's maybe a broad statement there, but she is so grateful, so appreciative, and because she comes from a more humble background and a different background, that has kind of opened up my worldview and made me a more appreciative and grateful person. So that's another really cool thing that can change your world. Next, it's just good for your brain, your cerebro, right? Learning Spanish is known to help prevent Alzheimer's, among other, kind of age-related diseases like dementia, for example, because it lights up your brain and it gets you working on new different things. So really good for the brain. Another thing is it also helps you succeed at other things. Kind of like what I was talking about here. You cannot lose if you do not quit. When you are learning Spanish, you're going to go through those inevitable ups and downs, and you feel like, I'm like losing progress, or I'm making really good progress, but oh my gosh, now I'm here, now I feel like I've gone backwards. It can be quite an emotional roller coaster, okay? But when you are able to learn Spanish, it helps you succeed at other things because it teaches you what it takes in order to be successful. And like I said, you cannot lose if you do not quit. The people who are successful at anything in life, whether that's going to the gym and being successful. I love talking about the gym on this channel. Going to the gym and being successful with your career, with your relationship, whatever. If you just keep going and you don't give up, you will succeed. Yes, it's going to be hard sometimes. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be discouraging. But the only way you can fail is if you give up, okay? So learning Spanish is going to teach you, I can succeed at anything I want as long as I do it consistently and I don't give up. Consistency, fun, and not giving up. That's seriously the formula for success, okay? Next, think about your community. Like I said, if you are from the US, you need to learn Spanish. Did you know that the United States, I believe, is the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world after Mexico, right? It's not Spain, it's not Costa Rica, it's the United States of America. First is English, second is Spanish, okay? So if you live in the United States, it's not a matter of, should I learn Spanish? Or, learning Spanish would be cool. No, you need to learn Spanish. Both my parents worked in healthcare, and they would use Spanish every single day in their jobs. Mind you, I don't come from a Spanish-speaking family, but because of where we are from in the United States, Spanish is the default oftentimes. In fact, where I'm from in Southern California, I am the minority. Latinos are the majority. So if you're not learning Spanish and you're living in the US, you need to learn Spanish. And they're like, I should. No, you need to. Okay? Because think about your community, right? I've taught students who, use Spanish at their work. I have students who have like businesses where their employees are Spanish speakers. Just in their community, at their church, what have you, okay? If there's one reason that you should learn Spanish and become unrecognizable to everyone around you and to yourself, do it for the community around you, okay? That's a really cool reason. Now, let's say you're learning Spanish and you're struggling and you're not sure where to go. Well, here are my 3 pillars for learning Spanish, okay? It's really, really simple. Okay, we have speaking, number 1, most important. Listening, okay? Getting that listening comprehension. And 3 is grammar. Now, I know grammar isn't exciting for most of us, but I promise you, if you just learn a little grammar, you're going to learn faster than most people. The other two bonuses that I'll add on for you are reading and writing. I think nowadays this most often comes through texting or participating in an online community, which, speaking of online community, click the link in the video description. You can join my Fluent Spanish Academy. We have more than 200 students in there. Our goal is to help you have a 10-minute conversation in Spanish in 90 days. It is seriously awesome. You can see what students are saying and the results that they're getting by clicking the link in the video description. Okay, so speaking, listening, grammar, and then also reading and writing as the two bonus ones. If you're only going to do one thing to learn Spanish, let it be speaking, okay? Speaking is going to have the biggest gains for you, and I always tell people that when I started filming YouTube videos on my main YouTube channel in 2020, my Spanish was much worse than it is now. Yeah, okay, I live in Mexico now, and I speak Spanish with my girlfriend and my roommate and whatever, people in my community. However, the number one reason that my Spanish started to get really good was simply because I was going online and speaking with random people every day and filming videos about it. Doing that for years helped my Spanish go through the roof, okay? So grammar, speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And if you need a plan, click the link in the description for the Academy. We have the step-by-step plan. There's no guesswork, so if you're confused, overwhelmed, or frustrated, this just lays it out in an easy way for you to understand. Bueno, muchas gracias por ver este video. Espero que te haya gustado y espero que tengas muy buen día. Hasta luego.